Good day, everyone. I am Roshan, a fourth-year PhD student at UCSD, working under the guidance of Professors Dinesh Bharadia and Deepak Vasisht. My research interests are towards developing an interactive environment using wireless sensing and localization as a means. And today, I'm going to present a work achieved with the collaboration of Aditya, Chen Feng, Sanatan, and Abhishek that brings us closer to this vision by enabling robust and accurate indoor navigation by using deep learning based wireless localization. We all have been using outdoor localization for a long while now across various applications ranging from simple navigation systems to autonomous driving systems, autonomous delivery drones, and bots, right? And we all love it. And the main reason for this is because of the availability of mapping software like Google, Bing, etc., that provide us with the physical maps of outdoors, aided with the satellite systems like GPS or Galileo that provide real-time locations in these maps. Can we say the same for indoor localization though, right? We have a couple of decades of research into indoor wireless localization, and we still cannot perform many important and simple localization-based applications. Like accurate user locations for contact tracing is still not deployed for indoor settings in the current pandemic situation, right? Or even for a simple application of using your smartphone to go from a shop to shop in a huge mall. Whenever we can do that, whenever we do that the next time, right? Or going towards these autonomous settings where we want bots to do work for us or bring things to us, right? Unfortunately, we cannot think of these applications coming to life anytime soon. But why is that? Firstly, most of these localization algorithms provide the location of the user in an abstract space, like say 19 meters, 13 meters in the specific example shown. This does not tell me where I am. Am I in a washroom, a conference hall, or a dining area, right? One might say that floor maps would be helpful in that scenario, right? But these floor maps do not give detailed context of the objects, like desks or tables or other equipment lying around, for example, which is also not good. I might be able to navigate in these spaces, but do not want your bot to crash into these obstacles just because you did not give it the detailed map of the space, right? Secondly, while there have been 2 decades of research in Wi-Fi based indoor localization that achieve a median localization performance accurate to few decimeters, there are more than 10% of cases where the localization performance goes as inaccurate as few meters. And these are the main reasons why we do not see any deployment of wireless indoor localization based applications. That is where we present our work of deep learning based wireless localization for indoor navigation. In this work, we built two systems, DLock and MapFind. These systems work in tandem to enable localization that is accurate even for those more than 10% of cases, and also gives us the context of physical map in which the user is being located. And we do this firstly by designing a novel learning-based approach to provide accurate user location. Secondly, we design a bot that gives us this physical context of the map for this location and also collects labeled Wi-Fi CSI data that is then used for training a model. Finally, we deployed, collected, and released a public dataset of more than 108,000 data points for training and testing under 8 different setups, wherein we show a performance improvement of up to 85% compared to the state of the art. Now let's dive in and understand how our algorithm tackles each of the problems we have discussed so far. The main challenges for localization are multipath and non-line of sight. To understand what these are, consider a smartphone talking to an access point. The signals from the smartphone does not just come to the access point in one direct path, but rather along multiple paths. And we don't know which of these is the correct path. This is a fundamental problem of multipath in localization. What makes things worse is if the direct path is blocked and the access point can only receive the reflected path. So now I have no information from the direct path, and so I cannot get the actual estimate of the correct path at all, right? So how can I get the location of the user in either of these cases? You see, if I knew what and where these obstacles and reflectors are, I can get the location of the user. But unfortunately, to describe these properties for a given environment is extremely complex. And this is where deep learning will help me. It will help me in building an implicit model of the environment and locate the user accurately. But how do I go about building this deep learning model that can learn these environmental characteristics? To design any deep learning architecture, we need to design following components. Firstly, we need to process and clean the data to be represented in an appropriate manner for your application. Similarly, we need to define what our outputs should be. Once we design these two parameters, we can then design or build our deep learning network architecture. And finally, we have to define an objective function that has to be achieved, right? Using which we define our loss and backpropagate our gradients to update the weights in the network so that it can encode the complex environmental factors in these parameters. So now let us see how DLOC is built to achieve our objective function of accurate user localization. Firstly, how do we represent our input data? How do we use it to learn the environment? One simple way is to use the raw channel information data. There are few existing works that use raw complex channel state information to train a new neural network to predict accurate user locations. But there are multiple issues with using raw channel measurements as an input to the neural network. Most important being that these channel estimates are complex valued and thus makes the design of the neural network architecture very difficult. To make things worse, white noise in these channel estimates enforce a need for infinite amount of training data. On the other hand, there has been a lot of work in image-based research in the field of computer vision that we can leverage if we can represent them as images, right? And so instead of relying on the complex valued channel measurements, we define a 2D Fourier transform that translates the channel measurements into the likelihood profiles as shown on the right, where in these likelihood profiles or heat maps, images as you call them, the brighter the spot, the higher the likelihood of the user being located there. But these profiles are measured with respect to the access points, and they measure the relative angle and the distance of the user with respect to the access point. Or simply said, they are from anchor's perspective, right? And so they lack the context of the space or the position of the anchors within this space, which defeats the purpose of giving context to these user location estimates. To overcome this, we transform the relative direction and distance-based images into XY heat maps, considering the location of the anchor within the map provided by the bot. Thus, generating these XY 2D heat maps that provide us with the context of the space, and then we use these images as our inputs to our network. And now that we have represented the inputs as images, we can leverage a decade of research in computer vision for object detection to perform our user localization. How is that so? You see, in image-based object recognition, we have to identify an object's location along with the definitive height and width. Whereas in localization, all you need to identify is the object's location with 0 height and 0 width. But how can we represent our targets to let the network learn these bounding boxes with 0 height and 0 weight, and also be able to generalize across random dimensional spaces, right? One way to do that is to define a 2D XY image with the correct location marked with 1. And this image is as big as your input images, which are as big as your random dimensional space, right? And only one of these pixels is 1 and the rest of them are 0. But this would cause the issues of class imbalance and gradient underflows during the network's training, leading to disastrous performance. And so to avoid that, we define a 2D Gaussian distribution around the peak with a variance sigma, which is one of our hyperparameters to tune. This output representation helps us overcome the gradient underflow and the class imbalance problems. And now we have both inputs and outputs as images that enable us to utilize the vast knowledge of image translation networks to enable accurate indoor localization. And to that end, inspired by the ResNet generator architecture from the authors of Pix2Pix, we have defined the following architecture of one encoder that learns the implicit model of the environment, which is then, this implicit model is then used by a location decoder that predicts accurate user location. We also redesigned the entire network to fit our objective. For example, we defined a larger kernel filter at the very first hidden layer to enable broader receptive field for the initial layers for when we have lower bandwidths, and the peaks are more widespread in the input images than we expected. There are further details described in our paper. But now, let us see how we design a loss function that satisfies the required objective function of accurate localization. A simple first idea to define the loss function is to define the loss by comparing the target and the prediction in mean squared sense. But we need to make sure that the multipath or the multiple peaks in the input images do not lead to multiple peaks in the output images. Or rather, simply put, we should penalize multiple peaks in the predictions, and thus, to do so, we add an extra L1 regularization term. And this is how our network solves for the environment dependent errors. So is that all? Did we solve the problem in localization? Unfortunately not. You see, transmitting Wi-Fi access point and the receiving smartphone employ different clocks that are not synchronized, that cause random delays in the measured signal. And while in an ideal scenario, the peak observed in our heat map images should be at a distance r, in this specific example, from the access point in the direction of the user or the smartphone, right? But because the transmitter and the receiver clocks are not synchronized, there is going to be a random error delta r in distance estimates that cause radial shifts or errors in time of flight as shown in the animation, thus making localization of the user inaccurate across devices. To understand it better, consider the following example of our XY heat map for a given user location marked with a blue cross, right? We can see that the actual maxima in this image is pulled towards the access point or has been shifted along the direction of the user towards the access point, right? So how can we overcome this issue? One simple way is, because we have the ground truth in bot, we can use the ground truth bot locations to compensate for these random time of flight offsets and bring the peaks to the correct location. And we can use these additional targets and these additional compensated images as targets to an additional decoder that we can train in tandem to our previous location decoder. At this point, one might wonder, how would the network learn these random time of flight offsets? To which we would like to point out that the offsets are random when considered from each individual anchor's location. But the source, the blue X cross in the image as shown, for all these anchors comes from the same location. Thus, if we can enforce consistency of peaks across images, we overcome the problem of randomness for time of flight offsets or the radial shifts, right? So we have this architecture that we have defined now with one encoder and two decoders, but we still have not defined how we come about the consistency loss that has to be backpropagated to the consistency decoder. To that end, we enforce closeness across outputs and targets in MSE sense for the consistency loss, right? But then we also average across all the input images or output images to enforce consistency across them. Thus, DLOC solves for accurate user location within the context of the given map. So far, I've talked about localization that would provide with accurate user location in an abstract space. But as I told you before, this abstract location is not sufficient. We also need context to enable navigation. So we built a school bot called MapFind with multiple visual sensors like LiDAR and RGBD camera that are mounted on a Kubuki base and has a local server that with the help of a SLAM algorithms goes around and maps the space. Further, it also has a Wi-Fi client that reports the channel information for each bot's location across all the Wi-Fi access points in the environment. So this bot moves around in an unknown space, mapping it just as you want it with all those tiny details of desks, chairs, etc., just like your Roomba does. It also collects wireless data using the Wi-Fi client mount atop it, labeling the channel information data with the location provided within the context of the map, which we can then use in training a DLOC model. Thus, using both DLOC and MapFind in tandem, we enable diverse data collection and also accurate user locations. But how should the bot move to get sufficient number of data points for the network to train? To estimate that, we define a novel path planning algorithm that the bot uses to traverse the space while optimizing for two things. It has to maximize the amount of space in minimum amount of time or minimum distance, considering that the bot is traveling at the constant velocity. And using these metrics, we have defined a novel path planning algorithm that best optimizes for the defined objective with minimum processing time. And with this design of MapFind and DLock, we have achieved context-enabled accurate indoor localization. There are further technical details in the paper, which I urge you to go back and read. Now, I would like to talk about how we have evaluated both of our algorithms and talk about our results. We have evaluated DLock across 8 different setups in 2 different environments, collecting over 108,000 data points, while one is a complex environment with 4 commercial Quantenna Wi-Fi anchors, where there are these multiple plasma screens and the metal walls that provide rich multipath setup, right? And we also see that there is an anchor that is behind a metal wall blockage, and so has non-line of, and this anchor has non-line of sight data for most of the data collected, right? And we also have tested it on this other simple environment of 500 square feet space with just 3 anchors. And we have added an extra reflector in the environment to have a multipath space. And as you can see, this scenario, the user has a direct line of sight to almost all the anchors in the space for most of the data points. With these setups, we compare our results with 2 different state-of-the-art algorithms. One is SpotFi, which has shown stable indoor localization performance using 2D music, while the other is raw CSI database deep learning baseline. And we can see that while SpotFi and baseline deep learning model have near to a meter level median localization errors, they have up to 3 meters of localization error at 90th percentile. Compared to these algorithms, we can see that DLock outperforms both of them by a margin of 85% at both median and 90th percentile, achieving accurate indoor localization even in these corner cases. To further state the same, in the simple environment where we can see that while SpotFi and baseline deep learning models errors are about 40 centimeters, they show about more than 1 meter localization error at 90th percentile. In contrast, DLock, while achieves comparable median localization error, it outperforms both these algorithms by 85% at 90th percentile by achieving 70 centimeter localization error, thus showing accurate indoor localization even under changing environmental factors and random time of flight offsets. One natural question for any deep learning model is the generalizability of it. To prove that, we have collected multiple sets of data under 4 different scenarios in the complex environment, where we can see compared to the no additional reflectors and obstacles in the first setup, there are additional reflectors and obstacles placed at random locations across the area for setups 2, 3, and 4. And to test the generalizability of our architecture, we train on 3 random environments and test on the 4th environment as shown in the table. And while we can see that while SpotFi still achieves more than 4 meters of localization error at 90th percentile, DLock outperforms it by at least 2 times in most of these scenarios, thus showing its generalizability across changing setups for a given environment. There are further generalization and ablation study-based results presented in our paper. Please refer to them. Further, we have open sourced our labeled CSI datasets, which we can now become a constant baseline against which any algorithms can fare with, thus pushing indoor localization to realization. We're also trying to create an indoor localization competition similar to ImageNet problem, the details of which and also the dataset are available at the link provided. The current version of our dataset is collected across 2 different environments under 8 different setups with more than 108,000 data points. We are ever expanding this dataset and soon are going to release a version 2 of this dataset that would contain up to 1 million data points for wireless indoor data. Please check the website website shown for any updates on this end. In conclusion, I would like to point out that our work shows 85% improvement in localization accuracy compared to the state of the art. This is the first work that releases real-world data for Wi-Fi CSI, and that this further enables open research in indoor Wi-Fi localization. We are in the process of expanding this dataset to millions of data points collected across myriad locations to further generalize our results across larger spaces with the target of enabling autonomous indoor navigation and exploration. For further details regarding our work, please refer to the website at the link shown. Thank you for watching our video presentation and hope to hear from you.